Sometimes as a new real estate investor, it can be overwhelming with all the information and the strategies and the things you could do to figure out what is next. What is the next step you need to take to make progress as a new real estate investor? Well, in this video, I'm actually gonna share 8 milestones. You can think about them as baby steps that will help you to move forward, to get started in a manageable, practical way. And we're gonna get started right now. Hey everyone, welcome to Coach Carson TV. My name is Chad Carson. You can also call me Coach, and this is a channel all about investing in real estate, achieving financial independence, and doing more of what matters. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss anything. The 8 milestones that I'm about to share with you are something that I've learned from my own experience over the last 18 years as a real estate investor. And it's also something that I've helped lots of people with in my online course, Real Estate Start School. If you're interested in that, be sure to check out the link in the description below. But instead of just talking to you here, I'm actually gonna go behind the computer and share some graphics with you and go step by step through the different milestones. Let's get started. So here you can see the 8 milestones, and you can think about this like a journey. You're the hiker, you're the hero of the story at the bottom of the mountain, and towards the top of the mountain is you buying a successful real estate investment. You can even go further up the mountain, and yes, that's you buying multiple properties and using the income to achieve financial independence. But the whole theme here is to break it down into little bitty pieces. And the little milestones that I recommend you focus on are just the very next step, the next thing you could have to do. You could think about passing it, like passing a sign on the side of the road. And we're actually gonna start, even before we get on the road here, with something that I call like the 0 milestone, which is finding your focus. And so the very beginning is before you get out into learning how to find deals and get your target market, actually getting a strategy on where you're trying to go. So picking a goal, like a big picture financial goal. It could be just having a certain number of properties you want to buy. I want to buy 5 properties. I want to buy 10 properties. I want to buy 1 property. Maybe that's your big picture goal. And then actually focusing on a particular strategy. And keep this really general. Don't get overwhelmed with it. Do you want to buy rental properties locally in your area? Do you want to buy rental properties long distance, like in another state, another country perhaps? Do you want to do a house hack where you live in one unit, rent out the other? If any of you follow my channel, you know how much I love house hacks. Or maybe you're trying to make a business of this, flipping houses, wholesaling, doing something like that. Whatever it is, pick one of those strategies and just go with it for now. You've got to get a focus early on a big picture goal, on a strategy, and don't get too perfectionist with it. Just pick something, at least for now while you're following through on the video. You could pause this and actually write this down and take some notes. That might be helpful. By the end of the video, you'll have more focus and some more momentum. So you have some focus, you have a big picture goal, and you have a strategy like house hacking or long distance rentals. And so now you move to the beginning, to the first milestone, which is to pick a target market. A lot of people get stuck here because you have so many choices. If you're investing locally in your backyard, which a lot of people do, it makes it a little bit easier. You're gonna need to pick some neighborhoods and some general locations within your town that make sense for you, where there seem to be good deals, there's some inventory, there's a type of properties you're looking for. But also some of you are going long distance, and so you're looking all over the country and trying to figure out what's the best place to invest. Well, I have a couple of recommendations for you and some tools that you can continue to use to help you focus on this first milestone. One is I have an article I wrote on how to identify and analyze your target market. You can look at that in the video description below. And there's also a tool a friend of mine named Robert Leonard made. He's a fellow podcaster, and it's called wiserei.com. And it's basically a database that you can filter and search through with cities, small cities, big cities all over the country, and you can rank them by some of the important criteria of a target market. Things like population growth, job growth, overall crime levels, things like that. And instead of you having to figure out and aggregate all that data yourself, it's a really good shortcut tool. So definitely check that out. And then check out my article if you want to understand what those criteria are. But the bottom line is you want to almost look for, like if you're a gardener, you want to plant seeds in really good soil. And a target market is finding a place with rich soil so that all the work you do and all the other milestones here actually makes sense. So that's why number 1 is picking a good target market, both from the big picture standpoint and also the neighborhoods and streets where you actually want to invest in your local market. The next milestone, as you move on up the road here, is to decide your good deal criteria. So you've got a target market picked, you know your strategy, if you're going to be a landlord, a house hacker, what it's going to be. You've got to identify and focus on what does it mean to have a good deal. And this really comes down to the numbers. So you have a location, but what does it mean? Is it going to be something like the 1% rule, which I have some videos on how to analyze and run the numbers. If you want to check out like 1% rule, or looking at the cash yield of your property, like cash on cash return, or is it maybe just looking at the amount of cash flow you're getting? I recommend picking 2 or 3 different criteria at a minimum. There's something you can do on the back of the envelope math. And so that when you're looking at lots and lots of deals coming across your computer from a realtor or from other sources, you'll be able to pinpoint and say, you know what, that's my location. Those numbers at least seem close. Let me go dig in deeper with this deal. And then once you start running the numbers and pulling out spreadsheets and doing all that, you'll have a clearer idea of here are my written criteria. And I actually recommend, you'll see a little bit later on in milestone number 5, putting this in writing. But up front, what you do right now in number 2 is just pick 2 or 3 criteria that are really important for you and put those in writing, put those in your head so that you can identify what it is to have a good deal. And if you want to go in more depth about running the numbers, please check out my other video on how to run the numbers using back of the envelope math. The next milestone is to get pre-approved for financing. So you could think about the entire real estate investing game as basically matching up properties with money. And some of that money might be yours, but very often for those, especially as a new investor, you're going to be getting some type of loan, maybe a bank loan, maybe an institutional like an FHA or a VA loan, or maybe you're using private money, or maybe you're using a HELOC, like a home equity line of credit on your house. Whatever it is, my tip for you here to get started is to line up this money before you go out and start hunting for deals. You can call that getting pre-approved for financing, or just getting your private lender or partner to give you a letter saying, yep, I'll loan you the money if you find a good deal or a deal that meets these criteria. But the bottom line is, once you have the money lined up, it changes everything about your search. I can remember when I first started, I was looking around for like 3 or 4 months, and I finally got a private lender to say, in a local bank, to say, we'll loan you money. And I showed them the numbers I was looking at, the types of deals, and they said, we'll loan you the money, and they gave it to me in writing. That changed everything. That made it so I could actually know that I could follow through when I made an offer to somebody. So a lot more we could talk about there, but the point here is, if you're checking things off the list, you want to get pre-approved for financing before you move on to some further milestones. All right, milestone number 4 is to find and identify or recruit your first key team member. So let's talk about team. I used to play sports, play football. I still love playing basketball. And something I've always recognized as a sports player is that you are only as good as your team members. If your team members aren't that good in supporting you, then you're not going to be that good. There's a coach, one of the famous basketball coaches named John Wooden used to say that the key ingredient of being a star in basketball was having a good team around you. And so it's the same way in real estate investing. And to help you narrow down your next steps, I recommend thinking about maybe just 1 or 2 key team members who could help you out and help you move forward. If you're a landlord who's buying rental properties and you're doing it like long distance, or you have a full-time job, it's probably going to be a property manager and or maybe also a real estate agent who's going to go out and find properties for you. And the great thing about starting with a key team member like that is they can help you line up all of the other team members, the contractors, the maintenance people, the inspectors, the closing attorney or the title company. All of those things are definitely key parts of your team as well. But instead of being overwhelmed by that, try to find the 1 or 2 key team members and then let them help you build out the rest of your team. So spend your time recruiting, talking to people. And if you're not a person who loves talking to people, you're just gonna have to kind of get through that, because you have to communicate with this team member. Just call them up, talk to people, get referrals from other people in your market, find that key team member. And it might go hand in hand with the prior milestone of getting financing. Maybe you have to kind of mix those or put those 2 together, because your lender is also going to be a key team member, but you might be able to go to your real estate agent or your property manager to help find those good local lenders. So number 4, find a key team member and recruit them to your team. All right, milestone number 5 is to create a target property profile. Now, this is just a fancy word for putting in writing what are your criteria, what are you looking for. And a big part of the reason here, just like the other prior milestones, is to help you focus. And when you finally focus and you know what you're looking for, amazingly, it starts to appear. So people who aren't always finding good deals sometimes aren't being clear on what it is to be a good deal. But the main purpose of this target property profile is to be able to share with other people on your team, especially your real estate agent, maybe your property manager, friends, other people who might find deals for you, actually putting in writing so that you can share with them. It could be a Google Doc, you could handwrite it, but just being able to share with those other people to have clarity enough on your own that they can also see what you're looking for. So for example, if you tell your realtor, I'm looking in these locations within these price ranges, I want it to approximately meet the 1% rule, for example, if that's one of your criteria, and then I want it to be single family houses or small multifamily property. You see how you're pretty specific there? They can actually set up a search for you and start bringing in leads that meet your criteria. So target property profile, very helpful for you when you're looking for deals. I find this also helpful when it's so easy to get distracted as a new investor. So when you start getting all these opportunities coming left and right to you, you're gonna go back to your target property profile and say, nope, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm gonna focus on. And that'll actually be a big help to you to eliminate a lot of the distractions. Milestone number 6 is to start doing your first lead generation campaign. Now, what do I mean by lead generation? What I mean is instead of waiting for deals just to fall in your lap randomly, actually go out and do some things that will proactively bring deals to you. You can think of this like fishing. Like if you're gonna go fishing and you're gonna try to eat fish, because that's how you're gonna eat dinner tonight, you wouldn't just put one fishing line in the water, would you? You'd probably put 3 or 4 fishing lines in the water. So that is what I mean by getting lead generation campaigns. You're trying to do something to bring leads into you, but as a milestone, don't try to worry about 2 or 3 or 4 right now. Just do the first one. The easiest one typically is to get MLS leads coming to you. So if you got your key team member in step number 4, you can now go to your realtor and say, I would like to look at properties with these criteria from milestone number 5, my target property profile, and can you set up an automatic filter to start emailing me properties that meet these criteria every single day? And so that is a free, simple way to start getting leads coming in. Now, does that mean that all of your best deals are going to come from the MLS, from the multiple listing service? Not necessarily. There are times I've bought plenty of properties off the MLS, but a large majority of mine have come off the MLS. So eventually, maybe you want to start working on things like direct mail to certain types of lists in town, maybe to landlords who've evicted their tenants, maybe direct mail to people who live in another town, but they own a property in your town. And I actually have some videos on that. If you want to check out some of those, I have a video on how to build a direct mail list. I'll put a link to that in the description below. But the point is, whatever is the easiest one for you to get started, just get started. Get some momentum, get that first lead generation campaign, and if you did this tonight, by tomorrow, you can start looking at deals. And that is a big step forward. Milestone number 7 is to make a scope of work and get a repair estimate. Now that seems pretty specific, right? A scope of work is actually just a list of things that need to be done to repair or fix up a property. Now, the reason I think this is a milestone is one of the biggest obstacles in new investors' head, often, it was for me, I know, is that you're looking at a property and you're saying, I'm not a handy person, I don't know how to fix up a property, how am I gonna figure this out? Well, my first tip is I actually have a friend, Jay Scott from who is the Bigger Pockets Business podcast, wrote the book on flipping houses, wrote another book called the book on estimating rehab cost. It's the book I would have written to figure out how to estimate rehab cost. And once he wrote it, I said, I don't have to write that book. That's good. So I just always buy it for other people. People in real estate start school, I always buy the book for them. And so if you're interested, if you're challenged by estimating rehab costs and figuring out what kind of repairs need to be done, I recommend the book. I have a link below in the video description. But the point here is to get out and practice it. If you're a new investor, you don't have to buy a property yet. All I'm saying with this milestone is go out and look at some of the leads that you're getting and from the prior step and put together a scope of work just as practice. And you could use your realtor to help you out perhaps. Use it if you have a contractor friend or investor friend, they can help you out. But just practice making a list. See if you miss anything. See what's out there and then talk to a contractor, especially if you're serious about the property, to get some estimates on what that would cost. So that's a big step, probably makes you a little uncomfortable if you're a new investor, but it's a critical step to practice doing that because you're gonna be more confident with the next milestone if you actually know the numbers on what it costs to fix this property up. Okay, we've made it to milestone number 8, congratulations. This milestone is just to make an offer. So if you notice what I've done here, we've done all these milestones and you haven't bought a property yet, right? But remember, the point of this is just doing the process. These are the things you can control. And you can actually control making an offer or not. This is something that when I'm helping people to buy properties and they tell me, oh, there's no good deals out there, my market's too competitive, my first question to them is always, well, how many offers have you made? Typically I get an answer like, 2 offers, 3 offers, maybe 5 at most. And my response is always, you're not making enough offers. You gotta look at a lot of opportunities before you find one that's good. A lot of new investors I've worked with, sometimes it's been 10 offers, 15 offers, 20 offers. It's kind of like paying your dues, where you have to look at a lot of properties to really get comfortable with what you're doing, making offers. And so if that's the case, you might as well get started. And so milestone number 8 in this journey to doing your first deal, to getting started in real estate investing, is just to make an offer and kind of let go of the outcome, the need to buy that deal and be successful. Just concentrate on the art and the science of making the offer. What does it mean to have a good deal? Back to deal criteria number 2. Have your team, your real estate agent, your property manager help you with some of these other steps of putting the money together, of building a scope of work. You're going to practice doing all these steps of being confident on making an offer and just doing it. And you can put contingencies, talk to your local attorneys about what that means, but typically a new investor puts a contingency for repair estimates, for inspecting a property. So really, it's not as big of a milestone as you would think, although if you're a new investor, it's going to be kind of a scary thing to make that offer. But you're never going to buy an investment property if you don't make an offer or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So my recommendation, milestone number 8, is to make that offer and then do it again and do it again and do it again. So there you have it, 8 milestones to help you get started with real estate investing. You started with milestone number 0, find your focus. We picked the target market. We decided your good deal criteria with milestone number 2. We got pre-approved for financing. We recruited your first key team member. We created a target property profile to help you focus on the right deal that you want. We put your first lead generation campaign in motion. We built a scope of work and got a repair estimate to get better at that. And then you made an offer. That is the milestones. Those are the milestones that I have used and helped a lot of people with. It's helped me stay focused. And so I don't focus on the big picture. I just focus on the next step and the next step. And it's actually something that really forms the core of my course, Real Estate Start School. So if these ideas by themselves are helpful for you, I encourage you just to go out and do it. I hope it helps you in getting your first deal. If you think this is something where you'd like a little more help in implementing these steps and implementing these milestones and having some coaching and some feedback, that's really what my course, Real Estate Start School, is all about. It opens up twice per year, once in the spring, once in the fall. I've been doing this since 2017 and helping people go through this process. And we use these milestones throughout. I have a lot of lessons and videos, and we have group coaching calls every Thursday evening. And so it's really both a course, and also I'm kind of your guide sitting next to you and kind of hiking along with you. And then you have other people in the course who go along with you as well. So if you think that kind of thing's interesting, I'm a learner. I've always liked learning and going to class. If that's the kind of thing that would be helpful for you, I would love for you to check it out. If it happens to be the time when it's open enrollment during the week in September or March of each year, then great, you can join us. If it's not that time of year, you can also just get on the waiting list and we'll let you know when it opens up. I hope these 8 milestones have been helpful for you. There are a lot of links below to each of those milestones, to other resources that you can go deeper on those if that's one that's challenging to you or you need some extra help on it. And if you have any questions today, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Be happy to reply and try to help clarify anything. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell. I've got new videos coming out every Friday about real estate investing, about financial independence, and I think you'll enjoy those, and we'll go deeper on some of the topics we've talked about today. Thank you again for watching Coach Carson TV. My name is Chad Carson. You can also call me Coach, and this is a channel all about investing in real estate, achieving financial independence, and doing more of what matters. See you next time.